have my phone by the... Oops. I'm like, what's that noise?
The very first thing that goes across live is, uh-oh.
Well, yeah, because I heard the little data sound, and I was like, uh-oh. Forgot to put my phone away from the board.
I should probably put my phone on silent.
That would be good. Oh, now who messed up going live?
Mind me, I'm just over here working.
Allow me to quote Harry Doyle since we're in spring training. Nobody's listening to it anyway.
Welcome back to another season of Cleveland Indians baseball.
Welcome to another edition of Teepee Talk. And in case you haven't noticed lately, and judging from the attendance, you haven't, the Tribes managed to win a few.
We got some levels issues tonight, dude.
Why?
We're peaking at like 0. We're coming all the way into red.
Well,
who is?
Turn it down.
Okay, I don't care about that. Well, start talking and see how this goes, because something just peaked.
How about me? Yada, 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 doo-doo-doo. How am I?
No, you're normal. I don't know what the hell it was.
I'll bet you it's Steve, because your gain...
Oh, yeah, because I'm so loud all the time.
Is it him? Because his gain's way up.
No?
Well, what the hell?
I don't know. Something peaked it. I'll just keep an eye on it.
It's the kickstart is powering up the board.
It's you. It is you.
I told you. His gain was all the way up. All right, talk into it, Steve. Talk normal.
Okay. I just got animated, so I probably went louder than I should have.
We'll get a little animated.
Well, I don't want to. You get it.
All right, there. You just peaked right below -6, which is where we want you.
All right, perfect.
So apparently we bumped your... That's what I was trying to do when I was cleaning up the kickstart.
Yeah, you probably turned it up a little bit.
Yeah, that doesn't help spilling a Mountain Dew kickstart on the mixing board. Not good.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right. So
for any live listeners, if we go off the air, it's because our mixing board shorted out because John spilled a kickstart on it.
Hey, it was a team effort, okay?
It did not short out, and I wasn't the one that spilled it. So
he was just the one that left it in the way. He was just the one that left it in the way.
Hey, there's a beverage here, man.
Careful, man. There's a beverage here. Start talking, you bum, and talk fast.
We are chewing through our 45 minutes. We should probably get on towards having a show.
Or you can go online and pay for the 3 hours.
I could.
We do have that option, too.
I won't.
We also have a soundboard now, so this is probably going to be almost none of Steve talking and all of him just banging random buttons to make noise. Yep. How many presets are on that thing?
As many as you want, right?
I could do 20, at least on the free one here.
Wow. Now that's a good one.
All right, let's get this thing rolling. Come on, guys.
Okay. Yep. You guys ready?
Oh, I've been serious for a good 2 minutes now. It's just, this is me, normally, that's all.
Okay, here we go. See? You say serious, but then you fucking do that.
Of course. All right,
here we go. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I'm back, or as Jar Jar would say, Misa back.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
Anyways, I'm your host.
There.
That's the reaction to not having it. But I'm your host, JT, back with AJ and Steve. I want to thank you guys for covering for me on the last episode. That was an absolutely miserable
show. Yes, it was.
No, the show itself was great. I thought you guys did a great job, but it was just like a miserable 8 days for me. So
yeah, you were in a bad way, man. I came over and saw you, and just I've never heard you that quiet. It was relaxing, honestly.
the night we were supposed to record, I literally almost could not speak. So I was going to Skype in because I was sick, and I didn't want to be around your son, Steve.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to do that.
Who is completely sick right now.
Well, all right. Well, if he'd have been sick, then I would have come over. Like, all right, what am I going to make it worse?
Yeah. You can't get AIDS twice, right?
Right. Wait a minute. Are you saying your young son has AIDS? What the hell are you doing to him?
Everyone has AIDS.
AIDS.
And my old dog Blue.
He died of AIDS. So, anyways, yeah, thank you for the moment of silence for the aluminum Falcon. I literally cried when I found out that I had to total that car because it was absolutely just the greatest vehicle that has ever been put on the road. And I went everywhere in that car. And I was going to drive it until it fell apart. It was running like a champ. I had new brakes on them. It was beautiful. It had the great nickname and everything. And
Well, you succeeded in your goal. You did drive it till it fell apart.
Yeah.
Very true.
Or it slid into a guardrail because some other douchebag didn't know how to drive in snow, so...
And then it fell apart.
Yeah, you know. But anyways, I am back, and I do have a very quick review. Since I was last on the show, I bought the Galactic Empire album, and it's kick-ass.
Yeah, we were listening to that.
Yep, while we were building the Falcon, we listened to it. It's kick-ass. It's very fun. So
Yeah, that thing's putting up some good numbers on iTunes and stuff, too. So
Is it?
Good for them.
yeah, dude. Well, it's really good. You know, I mean, I love metal, I love electric guitar, and I love Star Wars. So you put them all together, and I'm like, oh, this is badass.
Yeah.
It's the nerd equivalent of Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
It really is. That's the first thing I thought of when I was listening to it. I was like, man, this is like TSO, but for
Star Wars.
Fat nerds like me who have Star Wars tattooed on their arms. So, but anyway, thanks for covering me, guys. I appreciate it. This episode is going to be kind of for those fans of ours, if we have any, that have contacted us saying that they love hearing when I go off on stuff, because I'm going to be bitching up a storm tonight.
Yeah, the last show was just me and AJ, and now since you're back, we just get to sit back and listen to you maliciously roast the things that you saw yesterday on that documentary.
Well, you see, I've got a page and a half of notes.
And that's when you know things are serious.
I wanted to make sure that I brought stuff to the table because I was getting more and more mad, and I'm writing this stuff down. And it's not even like I took real notes. I mean,
when JT takes time to write things down, you know some seriousness is going on.
Get ready to edit. One of my notes, literally, is fuck, period, fan, period, edits, period. All in caps. So I wasn't even writing actual, productive notes at sometimes. I was literally writing the stuff that popped into my head. Here's another one. Indy 4. Just stop. I mean, I was watching this thing. I was so mad. It's probably good that I have 24 hours to rest on it so I could be a little more calm. But I'd like to complain about two things real quick before we get to tonight's topic. The first thing I'd like to complain about is, I'm sure everybody has heard by now, but it's basically been confirmed that the Blu-ray and DVD release date for Rogue One is going to be April 4th. And that pisses me off.
Oh, I backed it off a week? It was supposed to be March 28th.
No, it's April 4th.
Oh, man.
And it pisses me off because it says nothing about the 3D version. And if they do this shit again, where they put out the goddamn regular version and then wait months and months to put out the 3D, so I have to buy it twice, I'm going to be pissed. That is crap. Put the whole damn thing out once. Stop making me pay twice. Because you know damn well I'm not the only one out there that is way too impatient to wait several months to have the damn thing in physical copy, so I'm going to buy it twice. Stop doing that to me.
That would be like putting out a THX edition and then putting out a special edition a couple years later.
We'll get there.
And then a Blu-ray edition a few years after that.
Shut up. We'll get there later. That is not the same.
But it goes back to what we talked about with the Disney thing and stuff. This is
digital edition.
Complete business practice now to do this kind of crap because they know people are going to go out and buy the thing 3-4 times.
The slow drip, yeah.
I'm proving them right by doing that.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to buy the Blu-ray and the digital copy the day it comes out. And then when it comes out on 3D, I'm going to buy that.
Begrudgingly,
yes, that's okay. We knew what you meant.
Yeah, but you're gonna be mad when you do it, but you're gonna do it, and that's ultimately all they care. They don't give a crap what your feelings are when you're wiping the stupid credit card at Target. They just care that you're doing it.
It's gonna be exactly like it was with The Force Awakens. I'm gonna be walking through the store with it in my hand, going, This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm so pissed at Disney. I'm going to swipe my card and be grumbling all the way home. I'm going to put it into the player. I'm going to put on my 3D glasses, my The Force Awakens official BB-8 glasses, or my Star Wars Celebration Anaheim exclusive Episode 3 world premiere glasses. And I'm going to watch it, and it's going to be over. And
by the time
I'm going to go, that is the greatest thing ever.
By the time that 3D comes out, you'll probably have some nice new Celebration Orlando 3D glasses for some reason.
I actually might. You never know.
Who the hell knows?
You never know.
When you get to Celebration, they start slapping you with Celebration exclusive 3D versions of this and that and whatever else that you spent $200 on.
Yep. But yeah, so that's my first complaint. Is just put it all out at once. I get it that you're going to make money off it, but you've made so much freaking money. I mean, come on now. And
but they can always make more.
You know what? to kind of to tease what we're going to talk about later. Why are they doing that and not putting out the unaltered versions of the original trilogy? You want to make money, do that. But that's for our topic tonight. But so anyway,
that is leave people wanting more because they know people want that crap so bad that if they just keep teasing it and milking it, they're just going to get more and more people to jump on board for it.
It's the only thing I hate about it, is the way they milk us for money. Yeah, we're going to give it to you, and it's our fault for spending it. We're the ones to blame, not them.
Yeah,
but it still pisses me off.
It's like people who buy season tickets for the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, you stop that right now.
Come on.
If you want to insult me, just look me in the eye and point at me, man. You don't have to do it side of the mouth with a comment.
They are kind of like the special editions. There's a few edits to them year over year, but it's basically the same product trotted out again.
Look,
for more money.
I just watched Fanboys again the other day, and I'm going to paraphrase. If you diss the special editions one more time, I'm going to cornhole you with a lightsaber. Now, my second complaint...
It really is, though, because we complain about it every year, and we all sit here and we go, if we just stopped showing up to the games, those idiots would be forced to do something a little different. And then it comes game time, and you go... God, I got nothing else to do. Let's go. I really want to go to the game today.
Yep.
So
that's my life on Sundays.
Like you said, it's our fault. So it is. It really is. So.
Okay, so my second complaint, quick one. So that new Chuck Wendig book came out. The third of the Aftermath trilogy, Empire's End.
Oh, I'm slipping. I forgot that came out this week.
Yeah.
We need friends. Be nice while you're saying this.
It's fine.
Okay, hold on. Time out for a second. I just got to ask a question. Am I going to have to listen to this thing?
Supposedly it's really good.
I've gone through the first two. I've paid my dues. Why don't you guys ever jump in and tell me what happens in these things so I don't have to?
Well, because I don't really have time to listen at work too much, so...
Because we just don't care.
I mean, the tales of Malakili the Rancor Keeper and Therapy Ewoks... Come on, guys.
See,
how much more do I have to endure?
Well, I'll tell you what you have to endure, because that's my complaint.
Well, you've done the other two. You might as well keep going.
Yeah,
Why should we waste our time?
And along, JT, your lines of we're going to buy it and they know it. Yes, you're right. I'm two books of 3 in. I might as well just do the last one.
Yeah. Steve and I won't know what the hell's going on, so that's why you have to.
Yeah, we don't want to be confused and have to go back to listen to the first two. You already know that, so you're 66.6% in. You might as well get the rest of it.
Yeah.
Shit.
So here's my complaint. It was revealed that Jar Jar Binks is in this book, and apparently he wrote in Jar Jar as a street clown that's performing for children and looking like an idiot doing it. So basically, yes. So apparently, he went incredible low-hanging fruit and just couldn't leave well enough alone and had to go for let's rip on Jar Jar again. Because that's necessary. We needed more of that. This is why these books, when I complain about them, it's stuff we don't need. And there's a lot of it in there that we just don't need. I'm sorry. And I know that makes me a bad Star Wars fan, and I know I'm a cantankerous old piece of crap tonight, but why is that necessary? We get it. Everybody hates Jar Jar. Is it necessary to pile on? Disney's already piled on by not giving us any prequel crap since they bought it. So do we have to go, hey, remember how everybody hates Jar Jar? No, we don't. It's unnecessary.
Can we talk about the actual story points for Jar Jar in there?
What are the story points?
I mean, it was published the actual snippet was on IO9 or some tech website, so it's already been out there. But okay, so he's a street clown, yeah, and he's entertaining children. The other illusions that they make are that he's basically been excommunicated by everyone.
Yeah,
his legacy is that he's the guy that authorized the clone army, which means he's the guy that brought about the Empire. So. Naboo, the people of Naboo, like Amidala's people, want nothing to do with him. He's been permanently banished from Gungan culture as well, so he's got nowhere to go and nobody. Like, he is the saddest story in all of Star Wars.
So what they did again is take what the loudmouth fans of Star Wars want and just give it to them. Like, we have The Force Awakens, which is, we hate the prequels. Okay, well, here's an Episode 4 rehash. And now we've got a tiny example of that, which is, we hate Jar Jar. Oh, well then we're going to take that fan thing that people have brought up that says, oh, well, Jar Jar technically is the whole reason everything went to hell, and I'm going to put it in the book. Okay, great. That's good. That's very creative of you.
This is a major shift in Star Wars storytelling. When George Lucas was telling stories, he was just telling the stories he wanted to tell. Now you've got fans making Star Wars. So you're going to have fanfic being like the culture of the day. I mean, everybody who's coming out, everything we see for behind-the-scenes stuff for every project coming up, like Rebels and Rogue One and Episode 7, Episode 8, everyone says, oh, I grew up with Star Wars. I was such a fan. It's so cool to be a part of it now. So yeah, it's all fans making the product, so they're writing in the crap that they want to see.
And I don't give a shit what they want to see. And which leads us to tonight's topic, which we have an interesting title for the episode. I've been thinking about this episode for a while. The Nerf Herder Council versus the People versus George Lucas. And there it is.
Oh, we should actually state we've got a soundboard finally. So Steve is going to have a lot of fun tonight.
Thankfully, we don't have all 20 presets.
No, we do not. I only have 5, 10. I only have like 12 of them.
Well, there you go.
Okay, since this is sort of like the Everyman Star Wars podcast, set it up by at least explaining what The People versus George Lucas is.
It is a documentary basically crapping on George Lucas. And ripping him
So made by prequel haters.
Yes, prequel hate and special edition hate.
Ah, okay.
There's a little bit of support for him, so and you could tell it was basically put in there because they didn't want the whole thing to just be smashing the guy the entire time.
Yeah, it wasn't made by Michael Moore.
Yeah. So, I mean, it starts out like with, 15, 20 minutes of explaining who George Lucas is and his filmmaking and how revolutionary and important and, culturally just immense the original trilogy was. And then it goes to hell. And I had seen it before, and of course it pissed me off then. And over the years, I'm sure everybody has seen all the, George Lucas raped my childhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I absolutely hate that. And I see it all the time. I still see it. And I hate when people destroy the special editions. I hate when people destroy the prequels. And I figured it'd be a good topic to discuss supporting George Lucas because, really, let's be honest, none of this exists without him. So I hate when people destroy it because it's you claim to be this big Star Wars fan, then don't be ripping on George Lucas. He gave this to you.
Well, okay, I watched... Steve, have you seen the documentary?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's available for rental on all the streaming platforms. It's worth a watch. It's what, like 75 minutes, 80 minutes, something like that?
No, it's actually like almost an hour and 40, I think.
Oh, wow.
Because
okay.
I tried to search it up on YouTube when we were talking about it the other day, and it was like, about 135-ish or something. Because they were trying to charge on YouTube for it, too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I gave it a watch today. This is the first time I've seen it. And from what you were saying about it, and, even the prequel Strike Back guys, mentioned it, and how they wouldn't respond to requests to be in their documentary. I was expecting much worse, honestly. Like it wasn't as blatantly anti George Lucas as I thought it was going to be. It's called the People versus George Lucas, and the surprising thing to me about it is that unlike the prequel Strike Back, where there's a narrative done by the filmmakers to give you a kind of like a story thread through the whole thing, this is just clips of people talking about stuff. So it's not like the filmmakers themselves are bludgeoning you with their opinion. It's clips of other people giving their opinions only. And that's where I can see how it's inflammatory, but at the same time, it's not the filmmakers espousing their views, it's just them filming other people saying what they think.
It could be the filmmakers too, though, just using other people's voices. If we went out,
why else would you make the movie?
No, I mean, like if you went to Celebration this year and you interviewed 500 people about what they thought about George Lucas, and you threw 200 of them out and only put the 300 in that or people that were sucking him off. You know,
Right.
You know, it proves your point, even though you can sit there and go, I didn't say it. It's just the people I talked to.
Well, and like I said, I took notes so I could bring up some points, but I mean, one of the things that struck me is you get all these people. A lot of the people that they have in this thing, Steve, are independent filmmakers or internet people.
Everybody's a damn independent filmmaker.
All this different stuff.
So is George Lucas.
Yeah. And they show all these goofy scenes from these stupid things that these people have made.
Everybody's independent film people or podcasters. Everyone thinks they can do whatever the hell they want anymore.
Right?
God.
And it's like the whole complaint is that he messes with his work. He messes with Star Wars. But they show all these little clips and scenes of these dumb little fan films or whatever, or these like their interpretations and all this. They're screwing with it. Why can't George? It's hypocritical.
Because George didn't use their idea, so there's the problem.
No, it's just so stupid. It's just hypocritical to me. Like, you can do it, but he can't. He made it. And that's another point that really drove me nuts. And maybe I'm a little biased on this one because I'm a musician and I've written a bunch of tunes and stuff like that. So maybe I'm a little bit, jaded in this opinion. But they had a little section where they were talking about how he doesn't own Star Wars anymore. The fans own it. The people own it. And I went, no the fuck they don't. They do not. Because he made it. It's his. My songs that came out like 15 years ago, if someone comes out, if I want to re-record it and add some more guitars and someone goes, you can't do that. That belongs to us now because you released it. I'd be like, the hell it does. You didn't write the shit. It's not yours. Yeah, sorry, I know. I'm very animated. I will try and stop swearing.
No,
yeah,
it's fine.
I only have a couple of days to get this one out. So.
It's like it is not yours.
It does not belong to the fans. You can go talk to Bob Iger and Disney about who the hell owns it right now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The fans own Jack.
Hold on. Here's the issue. The issue is not that George Lucas messed with the films. The issue is they don't give us the choice of having the unaltered version if we want it. It's like,
no, that's the real issue. Yeah,
it's like when a band puts out a remaster or a remix. You love the Megadeth catalog being remixed. You love having bass in Rust in Peace.
Mm-hmm.
I like the original. I like the mood and the atmosphere of the original. I don't like the remasters. Same thing with the Van Halen ones really needed it, so that's a different story. But in general, like when you go back and mess with something that's already out there that people like, and then you take that original thing away and say, no, this is the only one there is, that's when you piss people off.
Well, and it's good that you brought that up because I was thinking about this. The only time that the original cuts, or at least close to the original cuts, were ever available were on the Laserdisc set. And even that was like different sound. But that's the only time. And who had a freaking Laserdisc player except for our uncle?
Yeah, those things were stupid expensive.
Almost
God,
no one had it.
a Laserdisc was like the size of this table, wasn't it? Those things were gigantic.
It was the size of a vinyl record, yeah.
And but so you're saying, as far as that goes, AJ, if they were just to release the original three, original copies on Blu-ray, whatever, then it just opens the floodgates. It's cool that it's all screwed with now.
Yeah,
as long
because
as
then
we
you
have the option to go to the originals.
That's really what people are complaining about, and I even wrote that down.
So it's like I said, like all these loudmouth people just stop complaining if they get the original.
Yeah,
that's BS because we all know that they're going to still complain about something.
That's true. That's true. And you know what else I thought? If you think about it, like I'll be 41 this Sunday, right? And I saw all of the original trilogy, all three of them in the theater. I actually saw episode 4 and 5 in 1980, and I saw episode 6 in 1983. Now, how many of these people complaining about we need the original cuts are like 22, 25, 26 years old who never even saw the original cuts? So what the hell are they talking about? They don't know what the original cut looks like.
Now that's valid. If you've never seen the original cut, then you can't say that I need the original cut because you don't. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about.
And even people our age, I don't understand it.
Young people.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many times were we able to see the original cuts? I mean, if you taped it off TV, okay, I can see that. But a lot of people only saw the original cuts maybe in theaters or maybe on television like once or twice. So to say, this is what we grew up on, you never saw them that much. So how can you really tell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like you watched it 200 times on the original cut and then you saw something completely different.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing, like, I think we brought it up a few weeks ago. Honestly, the only thing that was so unneeded was the little banter with Han and Jabba when he, like, accidentally steps on his tail and you see him, like, bump up and stuff. It was like...
I hate that scene.
Yeah, it's like, that was
is
completely unneeded because we did grow up on something that wasn't there, and then all of a sudden, in the Blu-rays or whatever, it just kind of popped up.
Yeah,
or
it was in the
special
Blu-ray.
edition or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
It was in the special edition.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yep, that was
Okay,
one of
thank
the
you.
big
Thank
reinserted
you for
scenes.
correcting me.
And that Jabba, I mean, the Blu-ray one still doesn't look that great, but
No, it
the
doesn't.
special edition one was awful.
I've never understood why.
Oh, so terrible.
With everything they can do, I've never understood why they haven't been able to fix Jabba. Like, of all the things you could do, you can't.
It's almost
can't
like
do
they're
that.
screwing with him on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Tarkin, and people that didn't know the guy was dead had no idea they were looking at a CG character.
Well,
And yet, just 6 years ago, when the Blu-ray comes out, we still get a Jabba that doesn't look at all photorealistic.
well, wait a minute. I can do you one better than that. That was 2016. How about in 1993 when we had a T-Rex in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, right?
And it looked like a freaking T-Rex.
Actually, yeah, if you could do a
do
dinosaur, you could
93,
do a giant
it's-
slug.
And
It's
that's
2017. I just showed you guys a video a couple weeks ago of that stuff they're doing down at Disney for Avatar Land.
Yeah.
And none of us could tell that was an animatronic.
Yeah.
And you're telling us they can't make a halfway decent Jabba the Hutt to
Yeah.
go on screen right now? You can make an animatronic and actually have it slither across the damn floor
Yeah.
into the scene, and it would look better than
Yep.
what they put in the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and there's videos that I found on YouTube that do a side by side of the original cut and the changes in the special edition, and it looks great. I mean, I don't understand what people are complaining about. And I've said this before. All it does is add graphics. I mean, it looks clear. It adds a little more depth to it, and I will go back to this. I don't understand what all the complaining is about because the story doesn't change.
Okay, well,
Nothing
there's one.
changes.
I made a few notes and then left them at work, so I'm going by memory.
Nice.
But I wrote it down, so I kind of remember it. It's like high school, basically.
You get a C.
Yeah, I never actually read my notes. I just took them and then kind of remembered something about them. But there was a phrase that they used in there talking about the Han shot first, Greedo shot first.
Yes.
Because that's huge contention, obviously. And one of the guys used the phrase, you're assassinating your characters and lying to the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that is really over the top.
That's way
But-
too
and
deep
it's-
for something that didn't need to
And
be.
it's complete,
Now, I will
it's
say-
a complete horse crap.
I will say this. I hate that edit, and I think it does alter Han's character.
It does no such thing. It does no such thing.
But, to say that you have assassinated your characters and lied to your audience. Yeah, when he said you're lying to your audience because you meant to do it that way, because that was the hype of the special editions, this was George's true artistic vision. I make air quotes on an audio podcast. I don't know why.
we all
okay.
do it.
I'm Italian.
I was
It
going to say
happens.
we're Italian.
Yeah.
Look what I'm doing right now. Come on.
What do you call a one-armed Italian? A speech impediment. Anyway, as I was saying, to say that like you're lying to the audience because you've taken a character moment and changed the way that character behaves, I don't know if I would go that far. But I do think it does alter your perception of Han Solo because when he shoots first, you're like he's not even waiting to give the other guy a chance. He's not even playing fair. He's out for himself first and foremost. The other time, it's like it just doesn't make a lot of sense. That is one thing that I will agree with in the documentary.
Total crap.
There's no way that a guy is going to miss a shot at you from across the table.
Total crap. And if you think that's true, then go watch Rebels because stormtroopers miss from 10 feet. So it does not change anything because all the kids that grew up with the prequels who've now seen the original trilogy, Han Solo is still universally accepted as the ultimate badass. There's not this all of a sudden fan backlash of Han Solo being a weak kind of wussy character and because it changes his character. No, Han Solo is still the exact same character he was to us when we were 4 years old. Back then, he's exactly the same to people who just now, let's say, watched the original trilogy this year. He's exactly the same. That scene doesn't affect Han Solo. And people who say that are just groping for something to bitch about.
I'm hanging on one thing, and it's the assassination thing. Wasn't Greedo on screen for like 8 seconds?
Yeah.
Well, he's not
Like,
saying Greedo's the one being assassinated. He's saying the character of Han Solo is the one being assassinated by changing his
saying
behavior.
it changes.
Because I was going to
Han
say, I'm like,
completely.
who's bitching about Greedo when he really had no screen time to begin with?
He's got like 4, quadruplet twins anyway, because there were 3 more Greedos
'cause he
standing
really-
in Docking Bay 94.
Yeah.
Because he really is one of those characters that's garnered such attention and this huge fan base for somebody that did jack shit in the movie.
Yeah, he
And-
sat down and got shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he was celebrating in episode 1 when Anakin won the pod race. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, that was supposedly that's Greedo.
I thought that was Wald.
I've seen 2 different takes. I've seen some people say it's Greedo and some say it's that other guy.
WALD if you're going to write that down.
No.
You grabbed a pen and paper right after I said it, so I assumed you were making notes.
Steve's like, no, it ain't that important, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it does not affect his character because everybody still has the same opinion of him, even if their first exposure to Han Solo is that Han and Greedo scene. I will admit that it looks pretty stupid where he just shoots over his shoulder. Like, it's like, okay, what the hell was that?
Well, they made him slide a little bit to his right.
Yeah. I mean, and I understand that it looks kind of dumb, and I will agree with that. But to say that it changes the character of Han Solo is such crap that it's not even funny. It's just another one of those arguments just because you're trying to nitpick something.
Well, okay, then I'll take the counterpoint of if it's not going to affect how things play out, why bother making the edit?
Because he wanted to. It's his right to do it. That's what these people don't understand. He made this, okay? And people that okay, I brought up the musician thing earlier, and I will go with, I will make this comparison. These people that think that the artist doesn't have the right to go back and mess with their own stuff, that's why the music industry is going in the crapper with everybody stealing music. Because they think they have this right to take shit that they didn't make, that they don't own. It's not theirs. It is not yours. It's his. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. And I have notes later that says, and we already said it, if you don't like it, don't buy it. You're the one that makes this possible. You paid for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to say, oh, we own it now because it's a classic movie. No, you don't. You don't. You didn't make it. And he didn't make it for you. You know who he made it for? Himself. He wanted to see these movies. It was an idea he had. That's what artists do.
Yeah, I will say this, though.
Well, I'm riled up tonight.
Well, okay, well, that's great. We need that. Clearly, Steve and I actually get along a little too well to make a good 90-minute show on our own, so
I thought it was fine.
But here's the issue. Like, Eddie Van Halen needed David Lee Roth. Axl needed Slash. Go on down all the great musical trios or duets. Steven Tyler needed Joe Perry.
I think I know where you're going with this.
It takes a little bit of creative conflict. You need that sort of stuff. It's a constraint in a way. You need something to limit your creativity and focus it and hone it. And a lot of the things that came out and made Star Wars so great were the things that he had to do because of the limitations. He couldn't do certain scenes because he didn't have the budget. Chewbacca had to stand like a wuss in the trash compactor out of the water because they only had one suit and they couldn't get it wet. Mm-hmm. Like little behind the scenes things that make for a better creative product because you're finding creative ways around challenges. When you remove all barriers, sometimes you can reduce how special the thing is that you create.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's a different point that you're trying to make because I actually wrote this down. I think what you're referring to is the original trilogy for Empire. He had Irvin Kershner directing, not himself.
I kind of blended 2 points.
Yeah. Episode 6 obviously was Richard Marquand, but in the original trilogy he didn't have that. It was just him with a sole vision. And I wrote that down, and I will say this, that I agree with that because, again, I'm relating everything to music because art versus art, and it's what I'm used to.
Uh-huh.
I've written some good songs throughout the years, but they turned into really good songs when I bounced them off somebody else.
Yes.
Had I put them out in the original form, been like, this is okay. But you have to have that because when you're so close to it, you can't really see the flaws. And I understand that. I love the prequels, but they're not as strong as the original trilogy, and I do agree that it's because of the lack of input from somebody else looking at it as an outsider going, well, maybe, talking about sand and, when I'm with you, I can't breathe sounds really friggin' stupid.
Yeah.
You need somebody to tell you that. And I side with. But
yeah, Rick McCallum helped get the job done, but he was really kind of a sycophant.
Well, but what people have to remember is, what are they going to do? I mean, 2 points there. Well, actually, no, just one. I mean, Star Wars was such an enormous thing at that point, and George Lucas was such a legend. Who's going to be the guy that's going to go tell George Lucas no? I mean, that's a meal ticket to millions of dollars. To just go, sure, dude, to be a yes man? Who's going to do that?
Well, ultimately, it all started with George anyway. As in, George decided he wanted to do the prequels, so he assembled a team to create those movies.
Yeah.
So if he's not going to bring if he wants total creative control, he's not going to bring in people that are going to challenge him. So right off the bat, you're not going to get that because he's not going to hire you if that's going to be the tack you're going to take.
Exactly.
Even though I think it would have made for a better product.
Yeah, it would have made it stronger. Yeah. I mean, I think you can just see from the dialogue in Force Awakens and Rogue One. Steve, you and I have talked about that.
Right.
That just the dialogue alone, you can see a difference.
Yeah.
And I agree with that because you don't have any of that kind of silly stuff. And, I mean, it's better dialogue, but it also could be better dialogue because people look at the prequels and go, well, we can't have that kind of stuff going on. But...
Yeah, absolutely, though. Even if you were working on the prequels and you came home every night and you told us sitting at a table like, man, these things are crap, but you're not going to go to work the next day and say, George, this ain't working out. You're just going to go and you're going to put your thumbs in the air and go, this is beautiful, George. Amazing. Print it. Let's put it out today.
Wait, you want to put a new musical number in Jabba's palace with singing and dancing and a CGI male singer?
Either that or you try to shoehorn it. You're like, man, you know what would really make this thing better? And then he starts looking at you with the evil eye and you're like, I was just screwing with you, man. That's nah.
See, that's even different though, because with that stuff with the special editions, that's just George going to ILM and going, put that in the movie. But so that one you're just doing a job, I guess. But in terms of making the prequels, I think what a lot of people don't think of is that while you're making something, you're seeing it 10, 15, 20 seconds at a time. So at that moment when you're on set with, clone troopers running around and squibs going off and stuff, to you it looks like the coolest thing ever because you're in front of Star Wars. You're like, oh, this is great. And you're like, oh, this scene looks cool. And then you see other cool scenes. You're like, this is going to go together to be really cool. It's not until you see the final product and start editing it together, you're like, oh, crap.
That is true. It's, again, going back to music, because it's just an easy analogy. I'm sure that no band ever has deliberately gone into a studio. Kiss did not go in and do Tales from the Elder thinking it was going to be the crappiest thing they could ever create.
Yeah.
At the time, they thought it was fabulous. Even in your own career, I was in the studio sessions for Current when Gatlin was doing that, and we all thought that we were producing the best sounding record ever. And now, going back, we're like, wow, that really could have been done better.
Yeah, because
you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, I mean, it's new to you, and as something is coming together, when it goes from an idea in your head that's not tangible, when it starts becoming tangible, there's an excitement there that it taints your judgment of what's going on. It's hard to remove yourself from that to see the forest through the trees. And, it goes back to our point of, having a director. But I think a lot of people lose sight of that. That it's, as they're making it, to them it looks cool.
Yeah.
And the story itself is a cool story. It's the story of how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. Who doesn't want to see that? You're getting more of Vader. Where did Vader come from? That's cool. And that's another thing they brought up in the documentary was how, it's supposed to be a movie for kids, but then they have this Trade Federation crap. So what the hell are they doing? That's stupid. Well, no, idiot, because it is a movie for kids, but he also knows that there's going to be adults like us that grew up with the original trilogy that want to see something too. So it's got some adult themed stuff like the political crap, and then it's got the Jar Jar Binks stuff. There's something for everybody. So, I mean, how do you not see that? I mean, these people make these complaints. It's like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, there were two audiences for the prequels. There were the original fans who were more grown-up, so they had to have more adult-themed stuff to keep those guys, entertained. And then you also had the kids that he was really targeting overall from the start. He was always writing movies for kids with these things. That's why they, freaking made tons of toys and stuff, because they wanted kids to get involved. Mm-hmm. So then you get Jar Jar and stuff. Yeah, so you have some of this and some of that. And, one of the points that they made as far as, like, the goofiness of Jar Jar, and, we got... In the original trilogy, you wouldn't have had anyone stepping in CGI poop. I'm like, do you remember how many belches were out in the middle of the desert? Like, right in the establishing shot of Jabba's palace, you get the big bullfrog-looking thing, like, snapping and getting the rodent, and then just, bleh.
Yeah, right.
That's isn't that special edition? I think that's a special edition, though, isn't it?
Maybe, but no one mentions it as a problem.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, of course not.
Sure.
No one mentions the Sarlacc belching.
See, that's the thing, though. That's why I hate all the special edition hate, because, the story doesn't change. I will never understand why anybody cares. It's just added graphics.
It goes back to what AJ said at the beginning. It's getting changed from the original, and we just live in a day and age that people are going to complain about it for whatever reason. If George never did the special editions, never changed anything, we'd be sitting here talking about how people are making documentaries bitching about how, well, it's 2017. How come they've never updated any of the graphics on this stuff or added any of this? Like, it's just people will complain just to complain.
Yeah.
Just to hear themselves whine and moan about something, because that's just what people do nowadays. So
it's like I've tried to put myself in their mindset, because I'm actually qualified to talk about this, because, again, I saw the original trilogy in the theater. So when people go, well, this is what I grew up on. It's what I grew up on. I'm one of those people that saw it all. And I did see it on TV a bunch of times. And I had all the toys. I'm one of those people, so I'm qualified to talk about this.
Yeah, but your recollection is still that of a 4, 7, and 10-year-old.
Okay, but... So are you telling me there's a bunch of 60-year-olds walking around?
I didn't quite do that math right.
It doesn't... Close enough.
4, 5, and 8. Sorry.
Doesn't matter. So... There's not a lot of 60-year-olds walking around talking about this stuff, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, it's just, it doesn't change that much. It just doesn't.
It doesn't. You're right. I mean, ultimately, the same story is underlined no matter what.
I can't... When I first saw these, my first reaction was, holy crap, this looks great. This looks cool. And that's what it was for.
And visually it does. Cleaning up all that footage, it makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
And that part's cool. Now, Steve, one of the things that they talked about in here, and I want to get your take on this, because I do think that this is a worthy point that they bring up in the documentary. Lucasfilm PR actually responded to requests for the original cuts of the films. And in a nutshell, what they said was, in making the special editions, they destroyed the original negatives, so they can never release the original cuts again. Doesn't that sound kind of fishy to you? I mean, because they said, and even I know this not as a film student, the first thing you would do is copy the original negative and work from that. You would not destroy the original, especially when the film is already in the National Film Registry.
Yeah,
it's one of the first 25 films to get into the National Film Registry when it was created.
Yeah, I don't believe that for 1 second, that they don't have 3 cans sitting somewhere covered in dust of the original.
Oh, they have them.
Yeah, I think it's really being blown off now, because remember, Rogue One, they used 1977 footage that was B-roll.
Well, everybody knows that they have them. I mean, even in that response, the guy even says like that later in the letter. They actually show the letter on screen. They type it out so you can see what it says. Later in the letter, they kind of slip up on something they say. Basically, they admit that they do have the prints. So
what they say is that, well, it's not George's original vision anyway, so you shouldn't want to see those.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay.
But they need to understand, I mean, trying to play devil's advocate here, a general Star Wars fan, especially a super fanboy, doesn't care. Like that, they're the person that owns the stupid Christmas thing and the Ewok movies and all that crap. They want to see it. They don't care if it's George's original vision or not. It's still Star Wars, and it's something they want to see.
Yeah. And I mean, that is the problem, that, they don't offer that out there. But who cares? I mean, I just don't understand why there's this backlash, and for everybody to come and crap on George Lucas, and to make a whole movie about crapping on George Lucas. It's like, you wouldn't have Star Wars at all if it wasn't for George Lucas. It's like, I don't like Metallica recently because Lars Ulrich sucks, and Load and Reload and Saint Anger were 3 of the biggest pieces of crap ever recorded. but I'm not going to go F Metallica.
Or stop putting out records.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, these fans are such a-holes, they caused George to stop making movies. And look what happened. We got The Force Awakens, which is an episode 4 rehash. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up because this is one of the like historian guys said. I think I wrote this down exactly verbatim. But fans want more of what they like. That thing they just saw and liked, they want more of that, please. And
Absolutely.
that's what Disney did. All they did is redo episode 4. It's like